Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's presentation of the Northwest Racing Truck Series live from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Of course, I am your host, Charles Wooten, in the booth, and alongside me here for tonight's race is, of course, the one and only Chris White. Chris, welcome to the booth here again for the 2020 season for the Northwest Truck Series.
Yeah, Charles, kicking off the 2020 series. It's going to be exciting. We're back at Daytona here. Fun racing. It's going to be some heavy right feet on those gas pedals, bumper to bumper, 200 mile an hour. You're going to see some great action tonight.
You're definitely going to see some great racing action. 22 drivers is what we see so far. We'll see if one or two more do trickle in through those hollers and park it in the pits. But again, 22 drivers so far is what made the call. A little bit short of the Cup Series on Monday night, where we have 38 drivers. I believe a record turnout, at least since I've been covering the series. So I'm stoked to see how this one goes. Again, there's a lot of new faces here. Obviously, you're in the booth here and not racing tonight, but even for you, some new faces here as well, like Stephen O'Hare. Bruce Weaver, not too new, but he has raced before. Jared Wakefield, and a few others, new faces here tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see some of these new names joining the Northwest Racing Series here. We'll see how they do, see how they mix in. We'll get a feel for them here. I'm not out in the trucks this year. I'm going to kind of step back a little bit. I might run a couple races throughout the year, some of the fun ones, some road courses. Maybe jump in there when they hit Eldora on the dirt, kick some dirt around. But here tonight, it's going to be interesting.
It definitely is. And again, we don't have a fuel mileage yet to see how these trucks will do. We obviously have been here before, so we know they're going to have to pit at least once, probably twice. But again, this is all based on if we stay green. That being said, I expect to see a caution here. And like we said Monday night when we were talking to Justin Prince, it doesn't matter when you come to Daytona, Talladega. It's not a matter of if you'll see a big one, it's when you're going to see it, who's going to be involved, and how many trucks, in this case, are going to be involved.
Yeah, it's Daytona. That's enough said right there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Daytona,
Daytona.
you never know what's going to happen. It's unpredictable. This is unpredictable, fast-paced racing, and like you've seen it in Monday night, this past Monday night in the newly established Northwest Cup Series. I was out on track in that race, and we had some big ones. We had some big wrecks out there, and unfortunately, we didn't see any green flag pit stops. I don't recall. They all happened under caution, so we'll see what happens here tonight. If they can keep it green, that'd be fantastic. But again, it's Daytona; it's unpredictable, and like you said, it's not if, it's when.
Yeah, it is when, and we saw several. I mean, there were three pretty good wrecks, pretty big wrecks in that cup race. It took out some big, heavy hitters in there. Notably, I believe Mark Walls got taken out of the race earlier than he wanted to. Jeff Stabnow got some damage as well. So a lot of your front runners, I believe, because that was where the first wreck was, got taken out, or at least had to use their fast repair and go to the back, or not use that fast repair and go to the back. Again, that is something you have to really keep in that back pocket, as we talked about Monday night. That fast repair is kind of like a lifesaver out there that you can use when you need it. So, do you use it if you're involved in a big wreck early, or do you hold on to it and wait for those last 20, 10 laps of the race and see maybe if you can use it then and make a run towards the front?
Well, for my sake, back this past Monday, I got caught up in a couple things there, and I didn't use it initially. I just decided to go down pit road, make that pit stop, see what kind of damage I had. I think I had roughly just over a minute's worth, so I just went ahead and got it fixed, and I got back out there, and I was able to actually uh, stick with the pack and close right up on them. And as long as I had cars in front of me and cars behind me, it wasn't hurting me too much. But I got caught up in something a little bit bigger later on in the race and did a little more damage, so I did have to use my fast repair. And unfortunately, the engine suffered a little bit too much damage and in another wreck, and then I ended up blowing the engine with like 5 laps to go, so it kind of blew a top 10 for me. But here tonight, I think if you can manage to stay clean and keep your truck going in the right direction, you're going to want to hold on to that fast repair as long as you can, because if you want to make it to the end, you might need it late in the race. You just hope you don't have to use it at all.
Yeah, and one thing we're going to be looking here for is penalties on pit road, penalties on the track. Is a big upset there for Jeff Stabnell Monday night in the Cup Car Series. Had about a fourth place finish locked up, and due to a wreck that happened, he ends up going through the grass into the infield, and I believe was assessed a black flag that cost him that fourth position, and all dropped all the way to 15th place. So regardless of whether it's a penalty that you do by speeding on pit road, not in your box, whatever the case may be, or it's accidental and you don't really even intend to or have any control over it, black flags, penalties are really going to play a factor here in the race. You do not want to get one. If you do get it, you're going to hope it's early in the race where you can rebound from it later on.
Oh, certainly. It doesn't really matter what track you go to. Black flags, penalties, those are killers. They hurt you no matter where you're at, especially Daytona. Daytona's a long track to get around, so if you go a lap down, it's really hard to make it up. And then also, if you lose that draft and fall off pace, you're just going to have a hard, miserable time trying to keep up. But it's best to try to avoid those wrecks, penalties, black flags. Sometimes they're just unavoidable. You getting a wreck right there towards the entrance of pit road, like you said. Sometimes you get knocked down pit road. Sometimes you have to go down pit road. But it's one of those unfortunate things. But then again, on the flip side, you're at a track, like I said earlier, it's unpredictable. So cautions can come very often, and if you can maintain, maybe one lap down, you can get that lap back with the lucky dog. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Will, and technically we are within the last 10 minutes of qualifying. Of course, it's a 20-minute qualifying session. The first 10 minutes of it is a driver's meeting. We are past that. We are almost 2 minutes, actually about a minute and a half now, into the actual qualifying time, and we have yet to see any cars take out onto the track. So, interesting enough that so far, even though qualifying is underway, nobody has taken to the track. We know they're not waiting on the sun to go behind a cloud or anything to cool the track off, as it is a nighttime race here tonight. So interesting to see when these drivers are going to actually come out onto the track to qualify.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see some of the speeds they start putting up here when they do start qualifying. It looks like they're still conducting their drivers' meeting, so it may take a few more minutes before we start seeing them hit the track here.
Yeah, and it's duly needed to have a long drivers' meeting, especially here for the season opener. Again, this is the Northwest Racing Truck Series season opener at Daytona on iRacing. And we talked about there's new drivers here, so these guys may not know how some of the stuff works. They know how iRacing works, but they don't know how this league works. So they need to be informed of all the rules and whatnot. And it looks like they are going to go ahead and start to roll out on to the track. So we'll get down with them as we bring the qualifying bar up. And we'll go ahead and as well bring down your sidebar onto the screen. But again, you got to know the rules of the league. Otherwise, you're going to make a penalty or mistake that you just don't know there. And, they're going to hold it against you regardless.
Yeah, it looks like they might just now be getting ready to wrap up that drivers' meeting. But yeah, all the rules, there's a lot of rules, a lot of changes in the off season. It's the first race of the year, so everybody's got to get on track, get accustomed to the new ways of things, and they'll learn. Even if it's the hard way, they'll learn. They'll get up to speed, and we'll see what happens. It looks like they're starting to hit the track right now to start qualifying.
They are indeed. Mark Walls out on the track. Again, the sidebar on the left of your screen will let you know the difference between the pole sitter, or the current pole sitter, I should say, and everybody else. So we'll be letting you look at that. Obviously, we can't cover every single driver, but Ryan Maines, Travis Barnes, William Fletcher, Carl Burke, John Ottbacher, Mark Walls, Stephen O'Hare, Jeff Stab now getting ready. There's a lot of drivers out on the track here for lone qualifying. The question is, what kind of times are we going to see here? I expect to see somewhere in the 49s, but during race, we're going to see a little bit faster than that.
Oh, certainly. When they're out qualifying, they're certainly not going to be running race speed, so the lap times are going to definitely be a little bit slower. Um, Looks like we're watching. I got the 41 truck on here. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's just kind of driving around at slow speed here, but it's a nice looking truck there.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple of people do that out there. They want a qualifying lap, but they just go at a slower pace just to ensure they get the that last pit stall. So we'll see if that's the case as to what the 41's doing, or maybe having some mechanical issues. As Mark Wall's at the top right now, Travis Barnes in that number 3 machine. He's one of those new drivers to the league with a 51.948, .077 behind Mark Walls. So we'll look to see if he can improve on that time just a little bit. He's on the backstretch right now. Again, I expect to see at least 49s here in qualifying, but we'll see. 51 so far.
Yeah, Mark Wells with that 51.8 right now, top of the chart. Actually, just as I say that, Carl Burke tops that with a 51.7. We got a lot of familiar names up front right now. The newest one, like you said, you got Travis Barnes there. Mark Wall's back to the top with a 51.3 on his second lap.
And we'll see as Carl Burke just being dropped back to the third position in that 53 machine. It's good to see Carl Burke back. Obviously you were racing last season. We didn't see a whole lot of Carl in that last half of the season, really even the first half. So it's awesome to see him back behind the wheel racing. As just as I talk about him coming back, we got that Rocket Man Dan in that 55 machine. He's going to jump to third, and he may be a contender for Mark Walls here for that pole on his second lap.
Yeah, it's good to see Carl Burke back. I'm not sure what happened last year. He probably took some time, stepped aside, but he's back, and he just put it back up to the number 2 spot with a 51.3. Not too much slower than Mark Walls there. Bill Ross Jr. there running in the number 17 truck, 51.4, sitting third right now. Still waiting for some of these other guys. Looks like Jeff Stabno's taking his first lap there, and some of these other guys are coming out. We'll see what kind of times they can put up.
Yeah, and a big shocker, you wait for Corey Walters, Tom Green, Frank Harris, Scott Hutchinson, Dana Rogers, and Dan Stuzzi, and a couple others that haven't even touched the track yet as Dan West Jr. puts in lap number 2. And looks like it's going to be a 51.9, so not any faster.
No, and Mark Walls is still holding his own up there on top. Stephen O'Hare takes over the second spot with the 51.3. Jeff Stabdown moves up to the third spot. Carl Burke fourth. Bill Ross Jr. is rounding out the top 5 as we sit. Dan Russ Jr. looks like he's sitting 7th at the moment. So again, a lot of familiar names up front. We still got quite a few trucks to hit the track, and I can't wait until we get the green flag. Honestly, we just need to get this thing going.
Yeah, I was mentioning, you mentioned Stephen O'Hare in that 41 machine. That was the one that was the pacing around the track real slow, so he picked up the pace, and he picked it up big time. Not quite enough to take the pole, but looking at their difference there, .006 off of your pole sitter so far, and Jeff Stabner only .010. So if those three can, get together later on in this race and kind of pull away from this pack a little bit after, pit stops and stuff like that, that could be a good little race between those three.
Oh, certainly. We're gonna see what these guys do. We're gonna see if they can take off and start battling. They're gonna get aggressive. Is that the thing? Are they gonna get aggressive early, or are they gonna try to be patient, get out there, start running single file? I think we're gonna see a lot of side by side action. And I don't know. I'm anxious to get this thing going. Like I said, in all honesty, it's just time to drop that green flag and start going.
It definitely is. And it won't be long. A minute 30 is all we have left. And, of course, it takes them nearly a minute to get around this track. So, right now, Bruce Lee Weaver in the number 40 out on track. This probably will be the last car that goes out. I don't think anybody else that went out would have time to do their warm-up lap and complete a lap. As they just wouldn't quite have time. So this will be the last person to qualify for Bruce Lee Weaver in the number 40. Right now on his warm-up lap, he is coming to complete lap number 1. And 52.123, a little bit off pace. But again, qualifying is important, but he's going to be in the pack. So even if he's a little slower, he should be still safe.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a bad thing if some of these guys don't take time here and put up a qualifying lap. It's Daytona. You can easily just go ahead and try to play it safe and ride in the back. Take it easy in the early laps, and then from mid race towards the end of the race, if you're lucky enough to have a clean truck still going in the right direction, you can start working your way to the front, put together a plan, and try to get up there to win this thing.
Yeah, you definitely can. And of course, for anyone that is just tuning in with us here tonight, in the booth here tonight is myself, Charles Wooten, and of course, Chris White, making all the calls of all the action here tonight, live on LSR TV. Again, we just both can't wait for this to get going here. It's got about 3 seconds to do it. Of course, that'll do it for qualifying. We'll pull your sidebar up off of the screen. Of course, it is time for the Walls Beard Co. Beard Bomb starting grid for tonight's race. And again, 23 drivers is what we're seeing here tonight. And gonna be good, a really good race here, especially if you look at row one. You got a veteran and a rookie. Mark Walls in that 48 machine. They're gonna be your pole sitter. Stephen O'Hare in the 41 going to be on his outside. The rookie and the veteran, row one. Row two is going to be another pair of veterans. The 24, Jeff Stabnow, and the 53 of Carl Burke. Row 3 is going to be the 17 of Bill Ross Jr. and the 3 of Travis Barnes. Row 4 is going to be the 55 of Rocket Man Dan West Jr. and the 50 of Jared Wakefield. Row 5 is going to be the 89 of John Ottenbacher and the 8 of Gary Nichols. Row 6 is going to be the 40 of Bruce Lee Weaver and the 28 of William Fletcher. Row 7, the 333 of James Vining and the 13 of Ryan Maines. Row 8, we start the people that didn't take times here in qualifying. The 58 of Stephen Paulson and the 9 of Corey Walters. Row 9 is going to be the 51 of Roy Grande and the 26 of Ray Fournier. Row 10 is going to be the 91 of Scott Hutchinson and the 11 of Frank Harris. Row 11 is going to be the 77 of Tom Green and the 07 of Dana Rogers. And rounding out the field in row 12 is going to be the 78 of Dan Stuzzi. Chris, you ready to get this thing started?
Oh, you know it. I'm ready. Let's throw that green flag. This is going to be exciting.
Definitely going to be a good race, as we are just one lap away from taking that green flag here tonight. And we got a lot of people tuning in here. We're, of course, live on the YouTube channel and Facebook. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. We'll be checking in on social media periodically throughout the night to answer some questions. We'll be typing in there with you. It's main focus, of course, going to be this 80-lap race. And I want to note here, Chris, that the Cup Series was 80 laps. This race, 80 laps as well. Typically, the Truck Series runs more laps. Not the case here when we come to Daytona. They both run 80 laps.
Yeah, the laps are equal. I don't think that's going to play any different from race to race. You know, they're going to have the equal amount of laps to strategize and figure this thing out tonight. I wanted to point something out, though. There's a driver out here in this race here that had a very successful race Monday night. Actually won the race. Corey Walters. What do you think his odds are to win tonight and sweep Daytona to start the year?
Well, he's definitely a good driver, so we'll see if he's able to do it. Starting a little deeper in the field, but again, it's Daytona. That doesn't mean anything, really. Obviously, he's not going to have a good pit stall, not qualifying, where he might want to be up front to pit. We'll see as the green flag is set to come back out. And there it is. We are racing for the first time here for the trucks, for the season opener for the Northwest Racing Truck Series. And again, time will tell. This is kind of a jumbled start here. We got them a little spread out, but I have a feeling they're going to group back up here very quickly.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see them get bumped to the bumper. They're going to be locked up together. You got teammates Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow already running 1-2 down the backstretch. These guys are going to want to stay close together. You want to keep in line so you can make that draft work the best for you. You get out of that draft, you're going to start falling back, and then it becomes issues. Jeff Stabnow right there behind his teammate Mark Walls, pushing as they go into turn 3. They're coming around to complete lap 1.
Yeah, and unlike the Cup cars on Monday night, we saw 2 and 3 wide very quickly. We saw the caution come out quickly too. Not here tonight. They are single file for the first about 12 cars or so. So single file there. That is very interesting. I didn't expect to see that. I figured we would have 2 distinct lines running early in this race, but then again, prove me wrong. That is not the case. Single file so far.
Yeah, here we've only got 1 lap on the books. We're going to see some double file. Don't rush it there. We're going to see it. It's coming. There's an outside line that's starting there. We got about 4 trucks out there. They're taking it easy here in the early parts of this race. They don't want to get wrecked. They don't want to have to be forced to use that fast repair. That fast repair is very fragile. You want to hang on to that as long as you can, and try to make it to the end of this race without having to use it. But Mark Walls is going to go ahead and lead lap 2 here, and Wicked Chassis Racing still running 1-2.
It is indeed, and that's 48 to 24. And pairing up, they are just kind of set right now. But like you said, here comes that outside row being led by, I believe that's the 40 on the outside row. Hard to tell. Yes, it is the 40 that's leading that charge. That is Bruce Lee Weaver. He is actually being scored as the race leader right now, being pushed by Ryan Maines in that 13 Armor Oil. Armor All, my bad.
Well, it didn't take long, for that outside line to start pushing through, and you got the 40 truck leading that outside line. You got, it looks like we got something going on here. Jeff Stabnow hard into the inside wall coming off turn 4. We don't have a yellow flag as of yet, though.
Oh, no yellow flag, so no, we can't go back and look. We'll miss the action up front, but we will definitely be talking to him. He is opting not to go down pit road, though. He's going to go and get back onto the racing surface. But again, another heartbreak for him here if that cost him a win, possibly. Good news is, like I talked about a little bit earlier ago, is if you're going to have a whoopsie moment or a boo-boo moment, whatever you want to call it, a mulligan, it's better to have it earlier in the race right now than it is later in the race when you really can't recover from it.
Yeah, I kind of went back a little bit just to see what kind of happened there. It looked like Jeff Stabnow was right there behind his teammate Mark Walls coming off turn 4. Got those left side tires a little bit below the yellow line, got a little squirrely there, kind of lost it. Looked like it was a self-inflicted wound there.
Yeah, definitely, and those are the worst. It's always better as a racer. I'm sure you can attest to this. It's a lot better as a racer if you can blame somebody else for a mistake. But in this case, self-inflicted. You can't blame anybody but yourself. Those are just the worst. As a racer, like I said, you really would rather have somebody else you can blame out on the track.
Yeah, I kind of beat myself up as a driver. Whenever I make mistakes, I tell myself, mistakes. You just don't want to. You don't want to see them. You don't want to do them. Get through the race without making mistakes. Just hit your marks. Get lap after lap. But when you hit mistakes, it's like dang it. You're beating yourself up over it. So I can bet you that Jeff's pretty frustrated right now. If it was a self-inflicted wound, I'm sure he's banging his steering wheel. He's got a lot of ground to make up now. Like you said, he did not come down pit road, I don't believe, to get that fixed. So this pack's going to catch him pretty quick.
Yeah, and you really have to kind of decide which is your best point of action, and it's tough to call when you're out there leading the race. Do you go ahead and pit and guarantee you're going to go a lap down and repair that damage if you can, or not repair it, or do you stay out on the chance there's going to be a caution and you won't go a lap down before they catch you? That is all the things he has to factor through his head during this time right now. There's a chance we may have a caution before they catch him, and if that's the case, he stays on the lead lap, catches the pack again, gets his damage repaired, and it's as if nothing happened, except for he may not have that fast repair later. Again, a lot of strategy goes into these races. As we watch this front pack, they're really starting to mix things up here, and now we are going to go 2 wide here for quite some time.
Yeah, I can almost bet that Jeff's staying out there. He's probably really praying right now for a yellow flag to come out so he can at least get down pit road and see what kind of damage he can get fixed. If not having to use that fast repair, he may be having to use it to get that truck fixed. But this is getting really dicey up front. We got that 40 truck moving from the low line up to the high line, right up in the front of Mark Walls there in the 48, and Ray Fournier in the 26 is running really good here on third spot on the outside row.
He is indeed. Again, the worst part is this: is Jeff's got damage now. His partner Mark Walls there in that 48 machine doesn't have a partner that he can work with. Again, he can work with people and he will work with people, but he doesn't have his dancing partner per se. It's kind of like going to a Texas two-step. You may trade partners every once in a while with dance, but you don't know that person like you know your actual partner that you came to the dance with. Texas analogy there for you, but we'll see how Mark does here without his actual teammate. He is on that outside row, and it's gaining a little momentum, but almost going 3 wide.
Yeah, as Mark Walls leads that outside line there, his closest teammate to him is looks like the 89 of John Ottenbacher there, running in about 8th or 9th spot there on the outside. So it's going to take a little bit if he's going to get a teammate up there to help him, but he's running pretty good right there on the outside line. We got the 40 truck out front leading this race, being followed by the 13 of Ryan Main. So far, clean race, no cautions.
Yeah, definitely, the polar opposite. Knock on some wood there as the 3 is going to dive it off the track. As I get back to what I was saying here a second ago, that is Travis Barnes in that 3 machine. Not quite sure what happened, but he definitely went off the racing surface. I thought he might have expired that engine a little bit, but not the case. He's back under full power.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. Didn't look like he got loose or anything. It just kind of looked like he pulled to the left, pulled below that yellow line. Maybe he just maybe he was feeling a little bit of pressure, just wanted to pull out, be safe, and get back on track and regain himself there. But nonetheless, he's got a solid truck, no damage, and he's carrying on.
He is indeed. Again, we've been focusing on this front pack here for quite a bit. But you can't count if you go a little further back. There is another group back here that's not with the main group, so that's not the entire field. We have back here Travis Barnes, Frank Karras, Dana Rogers, Tom Green, Stephen Paulson, James Binding, Scott Hutchinson, Dan Stuzzi. Jeff's back there even further back, and Dan West Jr. had already pitted. As we're got some shuffling up. We got the first caution out is the 26 of Ray Fournier taking a heavy hit.
Yeah, we got some good trucks caught up in this. The 48 of Mark Walls actually caught up in this too. So we're gonna have to see what caused this.
As I go back and we'll check the replay and see exactly what happened. But again, a big incident on the track. As if we can, we'll go to the aerial view here tonight, brought to you by All-American Pools to see what happened. And it looks like a major contact, the first between the 48 and the 40. Hard to tell if maybe the 48 came down just a hair or if the 40 came up. That might have been the 41, not the 40. Again, the 48 and another truck, either the 40 or the 41, making contact to start it. And it was just pretty much on from there, the whole field getting involved in it nearly.
Yeah, it looks like it might have had something to do with a little bit of, the evil net code, some people call it. I was looking there at the far chase view of Mark Walls, and it looks like the 40 truck kind of just disappeared, and then the next thing you know, Mark Walls' truck was kind of spinning towards the outside wall, so it might have had something to do with netcode.
Yeah, it definitely could. We saw netcode in the practice, and you talk about netcode. For anyone unfamiliar with what it is, it's really, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing iRacing can do about it. Short of literally everybody moving into one giant house. Even then, you probably couldn't get rid of it. Everyone's on a connection here, and those connections don't always mesh up properly. You think somebody's one place when they're technically maybe a hair off of that. And then you just have incidents that happen. Again, there's nothing any driver or iRacing or anybody can do about it. It's just a product of sim racing from time to time. But it looks like everybody is coming down here. 12 laps going to be in the books once they cross the start finish line. We still have 69 laps to go before this race concludes. So again, it's still anybody's chance to take it home, and we have a lot of cars that are going to be getting some damage repaired.
Yeah, it looks like some are going to get repaired. It looks like the 48 of Mark Walls opted to use his fast repair. His truck looks absolutely clean as it did when it started this race, so I'm assuming he'd used his fast repair there. He's catching up to the field. Jeff Stabnow, however, he got the caution he was hoping for. It looks like he's coming down pit road right now.
Yeah, stayed on the lead lap, got the caution. He'll be bringing it down. And that 41 machine, though, of Stephen O'Hare, he is cooking that engine as it's smoking as he rolls down pit road. Good news is he's rolling down pit road under his own power, what little power that power plant has left in it. Obviously, he has no choice. He's going to have to use that fast repair here.
Yeah, I'm watching the 24 and the 41 on pit road. Looks like they both used their fast repair. Their trucks are back to being brand new, and they're getting their service, and they'll head back onto the track here shortly. The 58 just exited pit road with damage, so it doesn't look like he's used his this time around.
Yeah, it'd be, again, this whole race, season opener, new guys. We got rookies, we got veterans. I'm really surprised we haven't seen a caution before now. Everybody's out there trying to get a feel for one another. Even the guys that raced each other last year, as you can attest to being in this league for multiple seasons, from season to season, people change how they drive. They don't change a lot, but they do change a little bit. They adapt. And even the people you knew you could race with last season doesn't mean you can race, with them this year, as a pusher or a car in the front, a lead car. Everything kind of changes, and you have to get back in the feel of it again.
Yeah, you often see change from season to season. Some guys, I would say for the most part, you see people change for the better. They learn tracks better. They learn their craft of driving, their driving style, and most of them get better. And as they get better, I guess you could say they get more control of how they drive. So you may not be able to pass them as easy because they're not taking it easy anymore. They're putting their foot to the floor. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's challenging in a way. You don't want to have it easy. You need to work for it.
Yeah, you definitely don't want easy. It's given. I'm not sure who said it in NASCAR, but or if he was even in NASCAR, the driver that said it. But you're only as good as the people you race. If you stay in the bottom leagues and you don't advance your career into the bigger leagues, you think you're the big kid on the block because you're going up and beating on the little kids. But you move up and you find out, okay, maybe I'm not quite as good. I need to practice some more, and you learn things. You get better. That is, what these drivers are doing. We just had the award show this past week and awarded the most improved driver. So, these guys are in here and they improve. They get better, and people that once were at the back of the field are now up at the front of the field. Racing for the win. So it's awesome to see throughout the progression of this, I believe, 34 race season, how things are going to progress, who's going to be up at the front that isn't up at the front now.
Yeah, and a lot of that's going to depend too, like with these newer guys. We have a lot to learn. We don't really know much about them or their driving styles yet. We got to hope that they stick around for the season and run it through so we can see how they develop with the rest of these veterans out here. But it's one of those exciting facts of the series. We'll bring new people in. It creates a challenge for the veterans because nobody knows. It's an unknown. But as we've seen this series before, time and time again, everybody seems to do their best to show respect to each other. And that's what makes this series fun, both with the Xfinity series that we ran before and now the Cup series and the Truck series. So it's a lot of fun. It gets frustrating at times, but we go out there and have some fun.
Yeah, and I obviously can't. I'm not listening in on the radio chatter. You can hear it a little bit as you listen in, and there's a reason we don't air that over the broadcast here, as most of the time it's calm and cool. But there are times that you can build a radioactive off of the radio chatter, so it can get a little intense there sometimes. But these guys, regardless of what they say, they respect each other out on the track and off the track. And they're not going to say too terribly much, but things can get heated at tracks like Talladega, Daytona, and especially the short tracks where tempers are going to get flared. And we are just about ready to take the green one more time. So we'll see how this one goes. Will we have another good long green flag run as the pace car dives off? And we are racing one more time. And a slow start for everybody, but looks like that 17 is going to get a nice little run on the outside.
He sure is. We got Ryan Maines in the 13 down low, the 17 up high. They're heading into turn one right now. Looks like they're double filed, so they're going to try to make that outside line work earlier than they did before. The 53 got a little loose there. The 13 leads the 28 down the backstretch.
Ryan Maines leading this race. He has William Fletcher pushing in that 28 machine. And, I was watching William Fletcher a little bit earlier on in this race, and a little bit of a connection issue for him. So we'll see if that connection issue is sorted out as he's pushing that 13 machine. If you have someone pushing you, you want a consistent push. You don't want to be having any issues. As you see right there, somebody having a little puff of smoke from their tires hitting from that connection issue. But we do have the sidebar up for you, and you can see people already starting to shuffle positions about midfield. So they're fighting really hard back about midfield to the rear of this field, especially Jeff Stabnow wants to get back to the front.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Jeff wants to get back up there. I'm sure Mark Walls wants to get back up there. But they're probably going to take it easy. And the reason is they've used their fast repair in all likely. And they want to save that. They want to save their trucks for the race. So they're probably going to hold back for a little bit and play it safe until we get down to probably within the 20 to go range. And we got one wicked chassis truck, though, John Ottenbacher, who is up there in third place, takes it to the outside. He wants a taste of that lead, so let's see if he can get up there.
Yeah, he's trying to do it. And, of course, that is one of the LSR TV trucks here in the series. We have two of them, but unfortunately, Sean Brightsman not going to be here tonight. We won't go into details. We don't know any details anyway, but, we wish him well. He couldn't be here tonight. Hopefully everything is going good for him. But he couldn't be here. That would be the teammate there for that 89. And to see how they do it. But we do have a lap car coming into the picture now. And I'm not sure who that is. I believe that's the 40 of Bruce Lee Weaver. It is. So lap car already coming into the picture. This is going to get interesting to see how they get around him.
Yeah, again, it goes back to the respect. You're off pace. You're not running the speeds these guys are in the pack. So he's probably going to stay up high and let these guys go below. And he's going to do his best to try to probably blend in so he can just catch that draft and kind of stick with these guys. If he's the first one a lap down, he's in that position to get a free pass if the caution comes out here soon. And I do see a lot of that puff smoke coming out, and that was one of the annoying things that I had to deal with Monday night in the Cup Series. You're not really sure what that's actually coming from, if a wreck's about to happen or whatnot, but it seems to be happening quite a bit.
Yeah, and it is. You don't know if it's somebody with a connection issue, because that's typically what it is. Those tires right there, when those tires are spinning, kind of like an airplane landing, and they hit that ground running, it causes that puff of smoke. And as a driver behind them, you don't know if that's what it is, because you may not see them blinking, or if that is their engine expiring. And if it's their engine expiring, you want to find a way around them quickly. So, it's kind of like a false alarm. You really have to be careful and know what's going on in your surroundings to avoid it if it is an engine expiring, which we did see Monday night. We saw at least one engine that expired from overheating. Hopefully that doesn't happen here tonight. But we got a nice little group. I wouldn't say it's too formed up on the outside row, but they're starting to get something together here.
I kind of think you might be talking about me about Monday night there. Within 5 laps to go, my engine did pop. Smoke came. I got ran into. The thing is when your engine pops, you instantly lose speed, and the guy behind you just really has nowhere to go. You don't have enough time to react to that, really. So, yeah, you want to do your best to avoid that, but in most cases, that kind of thing is unavoidable. So, but anyway, we got a pretty solid pack here coming down the backstretch with Ryan Main still leading them.
Yeah, Ryan Main's out front, followed by William Fletcher, John Ottenbacher, Carl Burke, and Travis Barnes, your top 5 drivers here at the moment. And they're swapping that up just a little bit here as Travis Barnes and Scott Hutchinson going to swap positions. And we'll see that quite a bit throughout this race. We talk about it every time we come to a super speedway. You can be in first on lap 20, and by lap 21 you can be all the way in 21st. You're never guaranteed a spot here. Is that you get out of that draft a little bit, someone shoves you up to the high side in lane 3 or lane 2 if there's only one, and you can get shuffled to the back in a hurry, as we see John Ottenbacher now battling for the lead.
Yeah, that draft is really important on these super speedways. You definitely need it, because if you get kicked out of it, you're going to fall back fast, and if you lose that last car in the draft, you're gonna be losing some speed, and if it stays green, you're going to be hurting. We got Jeff Stabnow and Mark Wells working together now in that pack that's a little bit farther back. They're running 12th and 13th at the moment. Got Gary Nichols right there behind them. Looks like James Vining, a couple other guys back here. I think they're just playing it safe and taking it easy. And, the front is now battling, and John Ottenbacher is working hard to try to get that lead. He's trying to make that outside line work.
Yeah, these guys may be trying to play it safe further back in the field, but on the flip side of that, as the 28 having that connection issue again, if these guys can't get it sorted out, I wouldn't say too wide to kind of just kind of scattering around right now. There's not much on that outside lane, but if they go too wide and half this field and that group behind them, again led by Jeff Stabnow, there's enough of them that they could freight train up to the front, and they could really make havoc for that front group if they really get together with about 8 or 9 of them there. That would be that'd be something to contend with here, as if they are right now, and they stay too wide up at the front, they will catch them. And it'll be interesting to see what happens if they do.
Yeah, they're playing it safe right now. They're kind of staying back. They're probably we got Carl. Was that Carl Burke spinning there?
I believe it is. Yes, Carl Burke into the grass. So far, no caution going to be coming out for it, as he's going to have to try to get back on the surface. And when he gets back on, that may cause the caution. But so far, it is not coming out, trying to get out of that grass. And nobody is coming, so no caution is going to come out for this, as he goes in the grass, goes around. But obviously, not sure if he just had the air taken off of his back spoiler or if he got hit. Either way, he does go around.
Yeah, I kind of went back and took a look at that. It looks like the 3 of Barnes got into the back of the 53 of Carl Burke there.
And it's easy to do to get into the back of somebody's back bumper here. So now Carl Burke in that same kind of scenario that Jeff Stabnow is in. He's hoping for that caution to come out before he goes a lap down. And it may be a little tougher for him. Jeff Stabnow was able to stay on the concrete, on the asphalt, and keep going. Whereas he went through that grass, and that grass is slippery and you cannot get any traction, so that cost him even more time trying to get out of the grass. So we'll see if he's able to recover from this, as we are coming up close to lap 30 here with still 55 laps to go. Still a good chunk of racing.
Oh yeah, we still got a long way to go. Looks like Carl Burke is all by himself. Doesn't look like he sustained any damage, really, I don't see on his truck. So if he rides it out and the caution comes out, he'll get himself right back in this, no problem whatsoever.
And as of right now, only Bruce Lee Weaver 1 lap down and Jared Wakefield 1 lap down. Note that Jared Wakefield is in the pits here at the moment, so he's about to go 2 laps down. Stephen O'Hare, 2 laps down, is out on the track. And there goes Jared Wakefield to 22nd. He'll drop Roy Grande, the only driver that did not start the race here tonight. So not sure what happened there. But he did not start the feature race or the race here tonight.
You got these guys battling down the backstretch going into turn 3. The 3 is playing. He's one of those new drivers, as we said earlier, and he's kind of playing the aggressive moves here, and he's pushing the 26. However, the 26 is not. I don't believe on the lead lap, or he's at the tail end of the lead lap. Looks like he's running in 21st position right now. The 3 now took over the top spot.
He did, and he is pushing the 26 of Ray Fournier, even though Ray is not on the lead lap. He's trying to stay only 1 lap down so he can get the wave around. But, I have a feeling pushing that 26 machine is about to cost him the lead, as that 13 of Ryan Maines, John Ottenbacher, the 89, and the 28 go to the outside. And I have a feeling 3 versus 2, they're going to get by him. So we'll see if he has any counter moves here to try to get himself back to the front.
We'll see. Hopefully the 3 doesn't get too aggressive here and cause the big one. That would be unfortunate for some of these guys. John Ottenbacher's working really hard with Ryan Maines on the outside. John Ottenbacher still wants to see that lead. We got William Fletcher there on the inside right behind the 3 of Barnes. I'm seeing some trucks blinking out. Like we said before, there's some internet connection stuff going on. So let's hope this race can stay green.
Yeah, and that would be William Fletcher in the 28 with the connection issue here tonight. This front group is kind of fizzling itself out as far as, racing. They are still side by side. But I still want to see them is this second group that right now is led by Mark Walls. They kind of swap positions there here with Jeff Stabnow. But, that right there is kind of spread out, but still more of a freight train coming from the back as they're kind of scattering just a little bit. If that group can tighten up just a little bit getting around this track, the aerodynamics would be amazing, and they would catch that front pack. They have caught them a little bit, but they're not catching them as fast as I think they could if they would really get bunched up together.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And as for aerodynamics, it's very important that these trucks stay straight. Damage can't affect them no matter what it is. And it looks like Jeff Stabnow used his fast repair to fix the damage previously, but it looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the right rear. It's kind of pushed up there, so maybe somebody got into him a little bit too hard there, so I wonder if that's affecting him any.
It very well could have. As we go back to the front, John Ottenbacher trying to make a move, possibly. William Fletcher is your race leader. This is different. William Fletcher has not been your race leader yet. We'll bring your thought back up there. You see, he has led just 1 lap so far here in this race. We've had several different leaders, as we haven't had a caution yet, but we'll go ahead and pull up, of course, your Interstate Synthetics caution information. We have had a caution. We've had that 1 caution, but only 3 laps of caution, but 8 different leaders here tonight. So quite a few leaders have led races. William Fletcher is going to lead his 2nd lap of this race. Of course, everybody wants to lead a lap and get that bonus point.
Oh yeah, every bonus point counts. And just want to note that that I just seen the 3 of Travis Barnes. He came down pit road there and made a full pit stop there. So that's kind of uncharacteristic to come down by yourself here at Daytona. Usually you want to make pit stops with somebody, so you have a drafting partner when you come off pit road. So I'm wondering if he was battling some issue there, or if he got a little squirrely and just pulled off to make a pit stop. Do you think we're coming up on pit stops?
I would imagine we're going to come up on pit stops here. I would say at least in the next 8 laps. And interesting, if this is going to be a 1-stop race, around lap 40, then, does that mean the 3, can he make it on fuel uh, from this point on? That's going to be a question we'll have to talk to. Maybe if a caution does come out, we'll talk to a driver here. Whoever's up in the front at the moment, we'll chat with him. But the 3 is actually getting caught now by this pack, and he's going to go a lap down, and they're going to get by him pretty quick. He's going to have to tag along to the back of him so he doesn't lose it. He does do that. So he'll tag in about 6th position, 7th position if he was on the lead lap.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens. I'm really wanting to know what happened. He pulled off the track, made his pit stop, and if he's really trying to plan to stretch it, it's going to be a little bit. I think it's going to be hard for him, not having a drafting partner. So he's pretty much off sequence from everybody else at this point, and but we'll have to see how it plays out. Maybe he's got something under his sleeve that he's going to try to trick the rest of these guys, and who knows? We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost like baseball. Sometimes you got to play a little trickery on people. Throw a curveball at them. We'll see. Strategy is key when it comes to racing, especially plate racing here at Talladega, Daytona, these tracks like that. The question is that a strategy, or did he have something he had to do? We'll see. Either way, if it was to come down, it was obviously for tire and fuel. He did all of that. He is 1 lap down. So strategy, not sure what it is. Again, if we get a caution, maybe we can pull him in here in the chat with him. But right now, it is John Ottenbacher out front, but not by much. William Fletcher trying to hang on there. And still, and I want to point this out, that 26 of Ray Fournier, he's not on the lead lap, but he's still hanging in there up at the front. He is determined to get his lap back and get the wave around here and stay in front of that leader.
Yeah, Ray Fournier looks like he's running strong, trying to hang on up there with the lead guys, even though he's not on the lead lap. It looks like he's 2 laps down, running in about 20th position. So we'll see what he can do to turn things around. But we've got what do we got? We got about 6, 7 trucks right there running up in the front pack, and then we go way back about 10 seconds or so, and then you got Mark Walls leading the second pack. So these guys in the second pack are kind of drifting back a little bit, and so we might see some strategy. I don't know. They're going to have to figure something out if they want to catch that lead pack again.
Yeah, it definitely will. As you just pointed out, so that second pack has turned into a second and third pack, which is going to hinder their chances to catch the front pack as well. But again, I would expect pit stops here in the next 4 laps, say. So maybe 4 to 6, 7 laps. We'll see. Obviously, we know they can make it about 40 laps on fuel, so at least anyway. So we know they're going to be coming down pit road here soon and making it a one-stop race. The question is, can the 3 make it? That's the strategy that we don't know as to why he came down a little bit earlier than everybody else. And, he very well could be banking on a caution coming out and him being able to get back on that lead lap. But to short pit, I'm not sure on the strategy. But again, this is why I'm in the booth and they're down there on the racetrack tonight.
Well, we certainly will find out. The 3 is running strong. He's right there with the lead trucks. So when these guys do come down and make their pit stops, he's going to obviously stay out on the track. But again, he's going to be all by himself, and he's not going to be running full race speeds. And these other guys are going to make their pit stops with each other. So when they come back off of pit road, they will have drafting partners. So that's really going to juggle things up. So I'm kind of anxious to see what's going to happen following green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I am definitely interested myself as we are coming up on that halfway point of the race. Again, anything is possible. Cautions could come out. We could see 2 or 3 more cautions. We could see no more cautions. Although we do know we have had that one. That is the only thing that's guaranteed in this race, other than the fact that in approximately 43 laps, we will have a race winner. Assuming we don't go into green-white checkered here tonight, that is also a possibility, is the 3 having a connection issue there. And outside lane just really hasn't been as strong as I think they would like it to be here tonight.
No, the outside lane seems to be struggling. You got John Ottenbacher there, second on the outside. He's now behind the three, pushing the three. The 28's really having a connection issue. He just continuously keeps blinking in and out. Hopefully that doesn't cause a problem for these guys, because a lot of times when that truck blinks out, nobody really knows where he's at until he comes back, and that can oftentimes cause massive wrecks, which would be unfortunate.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at those front two right now, separated by .066 seconds. You know, you talked about reaction time if someone's engine blows and goes up in smoke. Kind of the same deal here when you're blinking out, or even if something happens. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, engine expiring, blinking, a wreck. You have very little, if any, time to react to what's happening on the track. You know, that's why these guys are some of the best here, and are able to go 40 laps with one caution so far, because they are good at what they do. They're good at situational awareness, and these guys are keeping it clean here tonight. So it'll be interesting to see if we can stay under that one caution tonight.
We shall see. That's all we can say, really. But I bet that there's going to be more later in this race. You know, when we get in with inside 20 laps to go, 10 laps to go, these guys are going to get way more aggressive. You're going to see them start bouncing from inside to outside. They're going to be doing whatever they can to make which lane work best for them so they can get up to the front, and you're going to see some things happen. So I can almost bet that we'll see another caution or two. And then late in the race, you know, as always, cautions do breed cautions. We know that from racing history. So it's going to get exciting as we move towards the end.
Yeah, cautions will breed cautions. Let's hope we don't have too many, so we don't need any more cautions out there on the track. But they are bound to happen. And, you know, we talked about it in the pre-show. You know, it's not a matter of if, it's when the big one will happen. You know, we did have a fairly good-sized wreck. I guess maybe you could call that the big one, but only about 8 cars of the 22 that started this race involved. So I don't know if I'd call that the big one. It was the medium one, possibly. But if we bunch this field back up later and we have a caution then, we very well could see the big one then.
Yeah, Daytona, Talladega, super speedways are known for the big one. Like you said at the beginning of the race, it's not, you know, if, it's when. And I would say it's going to come. It's going to come later in this race, probably within 15, 20 laps to go. But we got the 28 of William Fletcher leading this race, actually. So we got 89 of John Ottenbacher running second. And you know what? Ray Fournier, even though he's down, he's probably feeling good. He's got a truck worthy of actually being out in front of this pack. You know, he's probably just enjoying himself. Looks like he's out for a Sunday drive.
Yeah, he's out there. And knowing that he's not on the lead lap, nobody's going to be too concerned about knocking him out of the way. You know, however, you might want to be a little concerned with him. The fact that he's able to keep it out there means he's got a fast truck, like you said. So, you know, they're not too concerned with him, I don't think, right now, because he's not on the lead lap. But if he was to get that lap back and he's up there again, then he's your competitor. You know, he technically is your competitor, but he's more of a competitor on the same lap as you. So, you know, just because someone's not on the lead lap with you at the moment, you can really never take them for granted. You know, if it was me, I would want to go ahead and keep him a lap down and get around him if I could, just to know, you know, that later on he isn't on that lead lap and end up beating me, and then you're knocking yourself thinking, and, you know, if I'd have kept him a lap down, I'd have probably won this race tonight.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But right now it seems to be working good as they run. And just to note, you know, the first truck here that's a lap down, if a yellow flag came out, would get the free pass. And that happens to actually be the 3 of Travis Barnes. 3 of Travis Barnes is the first truck 1 lap down. As Ray Fournier runs out front, he's actually nearly a whole lap behind the 3 truck. So it's kind of weird how they sit, but the 3 is the first truck 1 lap down.
Yes, it is weird how you look at them. When you see it, you think the 26 is higher, but like you said, the 3 is actually 1 lap down as he stands. The 26 is actually a lap and on the tail end of the lead. So if he was to get past, he would actually be 2 laps down. So he's borderline 2 laps down, whereas the 3 is just 1. But like you said, it looks really confusing when you're looking at it. You would think the 26 was ahead, but he's not. So we'll see 35 laps to go when we get to the line. And we'll check in with that back group there just a little bit more. And it's still back there. Mark Walls, Jeff Stabnow still leading this second group of 5 drivers. And so far, they really haven't made any ground on the front pack. I almost have to bank that they're waiting on a caution to come out. And, that's a good strategy if a caution comes out.
It is, and I think the last time I touched on these guys back here, Jeff and Mark, they were roughly 10 seconds behind the leader. It looks like now they are 17 plus seconds behind, so they are significantly losing ground on those leaders. So a caution would definitely help them, and I think they're waiting for that.
Yeah, and again, looking at the scoring tower here. We would expect them to come down, and I said they would come down at lap 40. I may have miscalculated that a little bit. We are 33 laps into this stint, so if they can make it 40, we had that caution, so they did come down. Again, we didn't get a chance to get a fuel mileage from these guys, but if they can make it about half the race, that will bring them in about 6 laps. So roughly with about 25 to go, and I stand corrected, they're coming down pit road now for this second pack.
Well, there you go. You're going to start to see some strategy here. They're going to start hitting pit road. The 48 Mark Walls, teammate Jeff Stabnow on the 24. They're going to probably take 4 tires and fuel. They're going to get back out and start drafting the best they can to make up some ground. And
cut you off. Sorry, Jeff Stabnow slid through his pit stall. That's going to cost him a little bit of time as he, again, just slid right through his pit stall. Mark Walls, however, did not. He's going to have a good stop.
Yeah, it goes back to early on when we say mistakes can hurt you, and that can hurt you, but it looks like he's getting off pit road pretty equal to the 48. Looks like they'll get hooked back up and start going again. These pit stops, though, being under green flag, are going to start triggering other pit stops, so those lead trucks are going to start planning their pit stops here shortly.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened. Maybe you can take a look. Frank Harris was doing a donut on pit road backwards in the pit road. Most everybody about 35 seconds on pit road itself. He was there for 56 seconds as he decided to do a donut there. Maybe got tagged or something happened, but he went around on pit road.
Yeah, I did go back once you said that. Looks like when he accelerated out of his pit box, he just got a little bit loose, overcorrected, spun it around, and of course had to do that donut to get it spun back in the right direction. He's back on track, pointed the right way. Unfortunately, that cost him quite a bit of time there.
And that's unfortunate. It's going to cost him a little time as we look here. John Ottenbacher is your race leader, and everybody has made their second and what would be the final stop of the night unless we have a caution, as of course, because we know they ran about 34 laps on the stint. We had 34 to go. We know they can make it the rest of the way. So fuel stops out of the way. We know super speedway tires aren't a factor anyway. So the question is, if we get a caution, do you come down and top off on fuel just maybe to help the handling as to plant this back into this truck on the track just a little bit more?
Oh, sure. I think if a caution came out, you're going to see everybody hit pit road. And being that it's under caution, you may even see guys take 4 tires and fuel just to kind of balance the truck back out. But fuel definitely. And we got the 48 and the 24 working together, but I still think they got to play some catch up. And then don't forget the 3 truck. The 3 truck made a pit stop kind of uncharacteristically there, and I don't think he is going to have enough fuel to make it to the end. Do you?
I'm wondering if he will as well. Have enough. And again, it really comes down to did they know they were going to have to pit? So they split this one in half. The question is, we know they can go 34 laps. Did he come in early enough that he is going to be outside a window? They could possibly make 40 laps, maybe 42 laps. We don't know. We know they can make 32. That's a given. So it really comes down to, did he come in too early to make it to the end of this race, or did he come in just in enough time that he's good on fuel? That will be answered here as we get closer to the end of this race, as we are coming up on 30 to go when the leader gets to the line, which happens to be that 89 of John Ottenbacher, taking that LSRT truck to possibly victory lane. We'll see, but he's got William Fletcher, Dan West Jr. right on his tail.
Yeah, and these guys are just hooked up together following the truck of Ray Fournier in the 26. Ray Fournier still running one lap down. He's just on the tail end of going 2 laps down, so kind of where he was before the pit stops. But John Ottenbacher's probably enjoying the fact that he's out front leading for Wicked Chassis Racing.
Yeah, he is really hasn't gone anywhere. He stayed right where he was at, hasn't fallen back, hasn't progressed forward. And he may help these guys get around this. I believe that's going to be the 333 of James Vining. And just ahead of him, I believe that is Frank Harris and Tom Green. It is. So Tom Green, Frank Harris, and James Vining, 12th, 13th, and 14th. They're being caught by 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the moment. So we're going to have a few more trucks going a lap down here. As we completed green flag pit stops for the first time here tonight. And this is going to be interesting. These guys are going to need a caution to kind of shake things up and get some of these guys back on the lead lap.
Yeah, I have to say you're right. It looks like things are getting a little stretched out here. And speaking of Travis Barnes in the 3, when he made that pit stop earlier, you know what? He's still 1 lap down. So I really don't think by making that pit stop he really gained anything. I think it actually hurt him. As you can see, he's much further back than he was before.
Yeah, he definitely is, and it's unfortunate. This is the way it happens sometimes for you. You know, racing is racing. Sometimes you have a good day. Sometimes you have a bad day. You know, the best part about being a racer is a short-term memory. You have to shake these off, forget these bad days, and come back and do it again next week. Or in this case, next Monday. You get less than a week to kind of recover from licking your wounds there before you have to come to the Cup Series if you're racing in it. So we'll see how they bounce back from this, having that bad day. But John Ottenbacher setting himself up good to win this thing here. He's got 2 fast trucks passing him. So, right now, it's just a coin toss as to who's going to walk away with the hardware.
We shall see as these laps keep ticking down. It's going to run out here soon, but the 48 and the 24 are still hooked up together. But now, I think before the pit stops, they were roughly 17 seconds behind the lead, but now they're running about 24, 25 seconds behind the lead. So coming in early and pitting before those leaders, it didn't seem to really help them too much. So I think at this point we need to see a caution to bunch this thing up and get reset.
Yeah, and not only did they come in a little bit earlier and lose a little time somehow, they also lost one of their drivers here. They're only a pack of 4 now, and they're spread out of that 4 as well. They were 5 drivers, so they lost a driver, and now it's really just 4 cars spread out with 2 of them in tandem right now. And that is, of course, the 48 and 24, Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow. Whereas the 2 behind them, not really doing them any favors, just kind of hanging back there. If they want to catch that front pack, I really think they're going to need a lot of luck and or a caution. And I think the better choice is probably that caution.
Oh, definitely. Being 25 seconds plus back behind the leaders, a caution is absolutely what they're going to need. And with these guys all stretched out like they are, we may not see a caution. It may run green to the end, which is kind of a product of the trucks getting stretched out and not being all bunched up together.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think our best shot for a caution going to come out is going to be in these last 10 laps, 5 laps of this race, when people start jockeying for position, trying to gain every position they can and get the win. That is going to be our best shot for the caution, because right now, this front group, they're pretty content where they're at. William Fletcher not really trying to press any issues. Neither is Dan West Jr. So, without this front group really trying to press any issues, try to make passes, and just run single file, you're not going to see those cautions as we got a little snaking action going on here in these front four.
Yep, we're getting to see these guys getting a little squirrely up front, but they're holding their own, and we still run as they were. Ray Fournier a lap down out in front of the lead trucks of John Ottenbacher and William Fletcher, Dan West Jr. Looks like they're just being patient right now as we get to see these laps get ticking down, and looks like we have a couple of trucks that have packed up and headed home already. It looks like Wakefield and Carl Burke, if I'm not mistaken.
They have indeed. Carl Burke and Jared Wakefield have packed it up and put it in the hauler. They're going to pack up and come back on Monday night, so we'll be looking to see them there. Again, one of those, heartbreak hotels for some drivers. It's just not their night here tonight. Again, you can only have one winner, so everybody's out there to try to get it, and sometimes some mistake and accidents happen on the track as the caution is going to be out. And I believe it's going to be for Bruce Lee Weaver. Let's go back and we'll take a look and see what happened as the 40 is on pit road and he just got there.
Well, here's the yellow flag. This is what we were just talking about. This is what the 48 and the 24 absolutely needed in order to get themselves fresh tires, full tank of fuel, and get back up there to compete for this win.
And it just looked like some rough racing there as the 40 gets into the outside wall and gets clipped again. The 3 making some contact in there as well. And like you just stated, this is what some of these guys needed to get back into the mix of things. As it looks like the 40 of Bruce Lee Weaver is also going to pack it up. His night is done here in the trucks. And this is coming on the heels of about 20 laps to go. This is kind of that go time as well. So we'll be going racing again with about probably 19, 18 laps to go. So we'll be within that 20 laps to go mark. If it's me, 15 to go, I'm saying, let's do this. Let's go. We got to get to the front.
Absolutely, this is go time, like you said. Within 20 laps, you're going to see these guys slicing and dicing, and it's going to be intense. You're probably going to see more cautions because of it, because these guys are going to be battling so hard. And you know what? The 26 of Ray Fournier, I think he was extremely beneficial with this because it saved him from going 2 laps down.
It did, and he is being waved around, so he's going to get back to the tail end of the field. And if he stays out, Frank Harris, Tom Green, James Vining, Gary Nichols, Stephen Paulson, Travis Barnes, Dan Stuzzi, and Ray Fournier, if they stay out, they are set to get a wave around and get back on the lead lap. That would give us 17 of the 19 drivers on track back on the lead lap. We know they're good on fuel. Tires really aren't an issue here at Super Speedways, so these guys will probably stay out. Actually, they won't get the wave around because they're not in front of the leader, but somebody's got to get that lucky dog.
Yeah, the first truck 1 lap down will definitely get that lucky dog, and right now, as we said, it looks like it would be the 11 of Frank Harris. I could be mistaken with that, but that's what I'm seeing. And for these guys to get the wave around, of course, you'd have to see all the lead trucks come down pit road first, and then you'd have to stay out. And if it was me, I would definitely be staying out at this point because, like you said, they're good on fuel, and they don't necessarily need another set of tires. I think getting that lap back would be more beneficial.
Yeah, it definitely would be beneficial. And the question is, will they come down? Again, we talk about this, just about every week. Just because you're good on fuel doesn't mean you won't come down and top off. Because, these guys spend hours crafting on these cars, tuning on them. And a lot of the time, your setup is kind of dependent on how much fuel is in there. When that tank is full of fuel, it will plant the rear end of this truck onto the track better, and it will make the truck handle better as well. So We'll see if they come down, but it doesn't look like they're going to.
No, I'm not seeing any of these lead trucks coming down pit road, so they're going to stay out, looks like. And, John Ottenbacher, he was out there leading the race. He still is leading the race, but I almost want to bet that he did not want to see that yellow flag.
I'm thinking he didn't either, and it looks like the lights are going to stay on, as I believe they've already crossed the line. So, why not? You want to grab Otto down here, and let's talk to Ottenbacher and see what his thoughts are.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
John, you got a copy?
I got you.
Well, we got you here. You're leading the race. Obviously, no surprise. You opted not to come down pit road and top off on fuel. So, we'll get straight to it. How's the truck handling out there? And now that this group is a bunch back up, does it change things for you?
It feels pretty good. Yeah, we're just, was hoping to stay green there, but we'll just try and stay ahead of everybody and see how that works out. But I expect another caution probably here because just cautions breed cautions. So we'll see what happens.
Well, cautions do breed cautions, unfortunately. We've only seen 2 interstate synthetics cautions here tonight. We're probably predicting a third, possibly a fourth. If we go green, white, checkered, do you have enough fuel in the tank to go green, white, checkered?
I don't think so.
Now, that will make it interesting as well. You're coming on to, I believe, to get one to go here. So before we get you back over on your team radio channel, Chris, any questions for our race leader right now?
Hey, John, how's it going? It looks like you're running a great race. Looks like you're having some fun out front there. You got some tough trucks following you, but the yellow flag came out, and that bunches things up, and you had a nice lead over your teammates, Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow. They were approximately 25 seconds behind the lead. I bet you did not want to see that yellow flag.
No way.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? You got your teammates back in the picture here, so what do you think you can do to hold them off?
Well, I don't know if I can, but hopefully Dan here will push me along, and we'll try and stay on the bottom and see how it goes.
Well, have at it. You're running a great race. It's good to see that truck out front with the LSR TV logos on it, and good luck to you. We'll see if you can get it done tonight.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, we'll get him back on his radio channel, and we will get back to it as we are riding on board with John Ottenbacher, that 89 LSR TV machine here while we talk to him. And inside of these trucks looking mighty fancy, but not as quasi fancy as the inside of them cup cars, all digital. Kind of like going back in time when you go on board here with these trucks.
Yeah, it really is. I think they got to do some updating, make everything look the same. But it's great. iRacing's great. They're doing a fantastic job with the way they're putting these trucks and cars out there, and the advancements that they're coming out with. As we know, this last update, you're seeing a new damage model, and so I took that for a spin in a K&N car, and it's looking good. It's looking good. It's going to be nice when they start bringing that over to the trucks and the Cup cars and the Xfinity cars. So iRacing's doing fantastic, hard work, and it's a great product where you can come out here and race and have fun. It's an affordable way to race and just enjoy it.
It definitely is. And, I want to point out here as we take the green flag here with 18 laps to go. Look who's in that number 9 machine sitting in 5th place right now, Corey Walters. He, again, did not qualify, started about mid-pack, and now he is sitting in 5th position as make it 6th. Bill Ross Jr. is going to get by him, but, like we said, just because you're in the back at the start don't mean you're going to be there later on in the race.
Absolutely. You can go from the back to the front, from the front to the back just as quick, and Corey Walters is doing a fantastic job. He's kind of run his own, kind of stayed out of the picture a little bit, kept his truck clean, and he's right there in the closing laps. And what did I say at the beginning? What is his chances to go ahead and sweep Daytona? Well, he's got just as good a chance here tonight to win this thing. William Fletcher's taking a look at the lead on the outside, but we got those other two wicked chassis trucks, the 48 and the 24, right in the mix to this thing, and I think that's going to scare John Ottenbacher out there a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely going to scare. Anytime you see a good run on that outside, especially when it has the 13 of Ryan Maines on that outside, that is a little scary stuff. That 13 is fast. He's another one that, it doesn't matter where he starts. You see him towards the front later on in the race. But they're getting a little dicey up here on this outside row. And we'll just have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. But again, everyone jockeying for that top position to get the win, be the points leader at the end of the night and going into, I believe, Las Vegas next week. So, you don't want to gamble to get the win in Las Vegas, but we'll see if they'll gamble to get the win here.
Yeah, they are getting a little dicey up there on that outside line. The 13 is kind of washing back and forth there. I'd hate to see him get in the back of the 28 truck and cause a big wreck, but you never know. It's Daytona, and it's really getting dicey. It's getting exciting. John Ottenbacher still continues to hold the lead on the inside line with Dan West Jr. pushing him. Corey Walters follows third on that inside line.
And this is the most stacked up they've been since the original start of this race. As we have 16 laps to go. Mike Correction, let me make it 15 laps to go. Outside row is very strong. Having a connection issue there from William Fletcher, who is your race leader right now, as he is back to go. But again, that scares you a little bit, and that could thin this field out here a little bit, as they may check up, trying to not get into him, as they don't know where he's at. But so far, that not being the case, is the three jumping 3 different lanes from the top to the bottom. And we'll see how he does. But right now, Mark Walls and Jeff Stadnow are still higher as somebody goes around, and that is going to be the 91. Scott Hutchinson goes around, and I'm not sure what happened there, but that was definitely not predictable.
Yeah, now we're seeing it here in the closing laps, another yellow flag. So it looks like you're right. The 91 looks like he might have gotten loose. It looks like he clipped the 24, and a couple other trucks might have gotten into this too.
Yeah, we'll see here. And maybe, oh yeah, there you go. A little bit of net code also between him and the 48 of Mark Walls. There was really no contact, at least not enough to warrant that truck going around. So a little loose, a little contact with net code, and around goes the 91 Scott Hutchinson, who was having a fairly good night here tonight. Technically still being scored in the top 10, but definitely a disappointing finish for him, as that is definitely not what he wanted to happen here with 14 laps to go and probably about 10 to go when we take the green again.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate to see these things happen. Looks like the 28 of Ray Fournier got caught up in that too. Unfortunately, he was running strong, even though he was kind of behind the lead there for a little bit. But it looks like some of these trucks will hit pit road, try to get some damage fixed. If they're fortunate, they still have their fast repair. They can get that truck fixed and get back out there to finish this one out.
And I don't think anybody's going to be coming down. So we'll see if we can. I'll pull the 48 of Mark Walls down here and see if that truck's handling any different. But again, a little bit of net code between them. So we'll get his thoughts, see how that truck is handling here at the moment, as he's going to be scored. If we can find him at the moment. There he is, sitting in a 6th position. It's just, well, we'll grab him real fast if we can. Mark Walls, you got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4.
Well, we got you here. It looked like a little bit of net code between you and the 91. We never really saw y'all two actually touch, but around he went. So the question is, how is that truck handling, even though it's under pacing here? Did it give you too much damage to the front end?
I really don't think it gave me any. I didn't feel any contact made. We saw the contact made and it got in the wall, but I didn't feel anything. Fenders look good. Everything's good, so.
Definitely good at the trucks handling. Again, from our point of view, it looked like a little bit of net code. We didn't see any actual contact when he went around, so net code has been an issue here tonight. Good news is, as you said, the truck is looking good, handling good as we're riding on board with you here. So the question I have for you here before we hand it over to Chris isn't really race related, but does the beard give you any aerodynamic advantage?
Yeah, you know what? I think it does. We shaved it, so I think we got a little bit of speed. We still got the beard, but it's not as long, so we went for aerodynamic this week at Daytona.
Well, aerodynamics key here at Daytona. Chris, any questions for Mark here? He's currently running at about 6th position.
Hey, Mark, looks like you're running good right now. That caution previous to this got you back up in the picture to win this thing. You think you got a shot to get up there and battle your teammate John Ottenbacher for the win?
Oh, we always do. I'm looking forward to it. This thing can push, and it looks like we got a pretty good group starting on the outside, so can't take that to the front.
Yeah, it's getting a little slicing and dicing out there. You got probably less than 10 laps to go when you take the green, so good luck to you.
Thanks, bud.
All right, Mark, we'll get you back to team radio, and again, good luck here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, still running on board here with Mark Walls in that 48 machine under caution. Again, we'll go ahead and get off there. And this is, of course, our third Interstate Synthetics caution here for tonight. Not too bad. 80-lap race, 12 laps to go, only 3 cautions for 10 laps out of the 69 that we have completed. That is not bad when it comes to caution, but 14 different lead changes. So we have been racking up those lead changes here tonight.
Yeah, when we take the green flag, we're going to be less than 10 laps to the finish, so it's a critical point to start making the moves that you're going to make to get up to the front and try to get this win. So John Ottenbacher's got his hands full. He's running right there. He wants the win bad, but William Fletcher's out there leading the race right now. And like we've said before, cautions breed cautions, so we're likely to see another one before that checkered flag flies.
Yeah, I'm not calling this thing out of the woods for the cautions by any means. As like you said, cautions do breed cautions. And I think we're going to see at least one more. And the real question comes into here shortly. Again, if it is 5 laps to go or less, we will go into a green-white checkered. And we talked to John Ottenbacher a second ago. Do they have enough fuel to make it on a green-white checkered? This caution may have saved them a little bit and able to make it. But it's going to be close. We know they had about 34 laps of fuel if it went green. So now that we've had the caution, that changes things. But we're still not clear if they're going to be able to make it to the end of this race if we were to go to green-white checkered under the fuel that they have now.
Yeah, green-white checkers or overtime laps always come into play and kind of throws a curveball into the strategy. If we see that tonight, we might see some guys push it to the limits and possibly run out, and that would be unfortunate. That 3 truck, though, I think is still a lap down. He made that early pit stop. I'm not sure if he's coming down again, but he's likely to be one to run out of fuel if he hasn't made a recent pit stop yet.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see again. The only thing that we know for sure is time will tell who makes it, who doesn't, if we run out of fuel, if we go to green-white checkered. All of that will be answered here in the next 10 laps. That's what's going to be left here of this 80-lap race. 10 laps to go when we take the green. Of course, it will bring down your sidebar until the final lap. It's a sidebar, so you can see just where everybody is in this field. Here is the pace car. Will be diving off right there, and we are set to take the green flag right there. Green flag is out. William Fletcher on the loud pedal. John Ottenbacher going to be on his outside, and everybody's going to be jockeying for that top position here in these closing laps.
Sure thing. William Fletcher's going to do what he can to protect that lead. Dan West Jr. wants to win. John Ottenbacher wants to win. All these guys want to win. Mark Wall said he has the truck to do it. Is he going to be able to get up there? We'll see.
He's got a good, strong field. Look at that outside row. We got the 89 of Ottenbacher, the 13 of Maines, the 48 of Walls, and the 9 of Walters. That is probably the strongest that outside lane has been all night long. Ottenbacher to the front, and so is the 13 of Ryan Maines. Both of them going to be able to power past that 28 of William Fletcher. It's rare to see two cars be able to pass that quick. They do it, but then it looks like Maines is going to jump back to the top side, and he is going to try to get the lead himself. He wasn't content with second.
Yeah, and Mark Walls is really working his way up there. He's making it 3 wide, going up the middle there. Corey Walters pushing him. Looks like Mark Walls really wants to win. John Ottenbacher's holding down. William Fletcher trying to push him out to the lead. It's getting crazy.
It is getting dicey up front. And again, you see Mark Walls there. He kind of just pushed the 13 up a lane and made that middle lane work for him. He does it, and that middle lane emerges and becomes the, well, still the middle, but the top lane. Still the middle, but top. As he is in about the third position now. But he is outside. It is two Wicked Chassis cars there trying to do it. You got the 48 Walls Beard Glue machine and the 89 LSR TV machine side by side, or at least they were. Now close to being side by side. It's going to get good here at the end.
It certainly is. You got the Wicked Chassis trucks out there leading the pack. Corey Walters, William Fletcher in row 2 there. Dan West Jr. We got some good guys up front. And, it wasn't long ago that the 48 and the 24 were 25 seconds behind the lead. And look at this. They got a shot to win this race.
They do. As you got right there, the 24 Jeff Stabnell sitting in the 7th position. And that is not a position that you want to count out of the race. That is still somebody that could potentially win this thing. We'll have to see, as we're going to be coming up on 7 laps to go. Right there as they cross line, 7 to go out of the 80 scheduled for tonight. Again, are we out of the woods of a caution? Toss a coin 50-50. Nobody knows just yet, but it has been a good race. Low on the cautions makes it even better, and Ottenbacher still remains the leader of this race right now.
Yeah, John Ottenbacher's doing everything he can to keep that lead. I think he's got slight beneficial factor here, having the inside line. I think the inside line is where you want to be. The outside line just doesn't seem to have enough going for it right now. But these laps are ticking down, and you're going to start seeing the pushing and shoving start to get a little more intense here as we see these laps wind down.
Yeah, they are winding down, and you talk about pushing, shoving, aggressiveness going on. They're not going to be intentionally out there to wreck each other, but that 48 and the 89, those two, they run together a lot. They're fierce competitors. They're going to be battling to the very bitter end. William Fletcher, he's kind of more laid back. I don't expect to see him do too much, as it looks like Corey Walters has got shoved out of line and almost gets into the 28 machine. But Corey Walters, I expect to see him doing some shaking here, trying to get there as well as that 24 machine of Jeff Stabnell.
Yeah, that 9 of Corey Walters. Oh my gosh, that was a pretty intense move right there. He might have got loose, might have got bumped, but that was a crazy save right there. He kept it going. Jeff Stabnell's pushing him right now. It's getting intense. These guys are moving left and right. The inside line seems to be still the stronger way to go, and John Ottenbacher's still holding them down. It looks like we're under 5 to go.
And we are under 5, again, which indicates that if a caution was to come out now, we will go into the green-white checkered zone. Well, time will tell now. Will we have a green-white checkered? Will this thing end under green? We just don't know yet. As Mark Wall is going to be pushed to the front by the 24 and the 9. The 9 of Corey Walters. That hole ain't quite big enough, but he's going to make it fit anyway.
Oh, it's getting intense. We're on the edge of our seats right here as this race is ticking down. Corey Walters went to victory lane in the first race ever of the Northwest Cup Series this past Monday night here at Daytona. He would love to take the victory here in sweep Daytona for the start of the 2020 season. Mark Walls now has the lead. John Ottenbacher wants it back, and Corey Walters is sandwiched right there in the middle. One little slip up, and it's a huge wreck.
Yeah, and in the words of Nick Robbins from Race on Texas, That move there, when he squeezed up there, as he would say, you couldn't fit the Holy Spirit between them two right now. That is how close that pass was, as he just barely snookered that thing right into second place. And that may be a winning move right there.
It could be, but you know what? It comes down to the final lap in this race, and you got Corey Walters sitting in second, John Ottbacher sitting in third, but they can team up on the 48. They can pull out and make a move on that final lap and try to steal it away from the 48.
Yeah, and it looks like the 89 of Ottenbacher kind of hinting at, hey, come on, Corey Walters, let's get out there, let's make something happen, as he sneaks out a little bit. And two, that also is to get a little air. Is the 28 going to get loose? Or a bump there, but he's going to get back onto the surface, and now you have the 9 of Walters way up to the high side, and contact, he bumps the 48 off the racing surface, and that's going to cause a big one.
Yep, we got the big one for sure right there. We're definitely going into overtime here. Looks like the 48 and the 9 got together just a little bit, and then the 48 came back up on track, got into his teammate 24, and several other trucks got involved in that one. So and here it is, the product of Daytona. Some hard battling at the end. Everybody wants to win here, and we'll have to reset it again.
We definitely will. And we're going to go look at this from the aerial view here tonight, and you see the 9. There you go. The 13 of Ryan Maines gives a shot to the shorts of that 24, Jeff Stabnow. He then, in return, gives a shot to the 9. The 9 gets loose, hits the 48 of Mark Walls. So that would explain why he did it. He didn't just get loose. He got a shot right in that back bumper. And just kind of an accordion effect. The 13 hits the 24. The 24 hits the 9. The 9 hits the 48. And, well, the rest is kind of history.
Yep, I kind of went back and saw that myself too. So it's unfortunate, but like I keep saying, it's just Daytona. It's just the product of this kind of racing, and it looks like Corey Walters is now scored as your race leader. It looks like he's got some damage, so I wonder how it's going to handle here if he chooses to stay out and try to make it to the end. John Ottbacher running second. Looks like he's got a solid, clean truck.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about him earlier. He was in the Heartbreak Hotel last week. Last week, this past Monday, he thought he had a 4th place finish, got the black flag, ended up finishing 15th, and he's sitting in 2nd place right now with that engine smoking pretty heavily, and he's already used his fast repair. Jeff Stabnow looks to be out of this race here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the 24. We all know everybody wants to win this race, including Jeff. Jeff's a fantastic driver out there. He knows what he's doing. Unfortunately, he did use his fast repair. He's smoking. It looks like he's going to have to wrap it up for Daytona this time around. But it's early in the season. It's not really too much of a big deal here. You have plenty of time throughout the year, throughout the season, to rebound and get some wins and get some good finishes. So he'll have to scratch this one off the board and move on to next week.
Yeah, it's definitely not the way he wanted to go. And the engine's still running right now. We're going to have about 2 or 3 laps of caution. And, of course, that 24 engine's still smoking. The question is he going to stay out on this track and try to run it out smoking, or is he going to pull it down to the pits? You know, he's only got 3 laps to go when we go racing. It'll be, well, actually, technically 2. It'll be a green, white, checkered. You think he's going to try to run this thing out?
With Jeff Stabnow, I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the end with the truck smoking like that. I'm pretty sure the truck is going to, the engine's going to expire before he can make it to the end. But you never know. We'll see. He's probably going to take it as far as he can.
And he's on the apron as we're watching to see if he does bring it down pit road. And he does not. He opts to keep that 24 machine out on the track. I think we need to pull him down here and have a chat with him. Lights are still on. Let's pull Jeff down here and take a quick chat with him. Jeff Stabnow, you got a copy.
I got you, Charles.
Well, we got here, again, we thought you might be in the Heartbreak Hotel. Looks like you're going to opt to stay out. The question we have for you here is, you going to run this thing out till she blows?
No, I got a meatball flag. I got a pit this time in, so they'll shut me down anyway. So race is over for me. I'm just getting every lap I can.
Well, we thought there for a minute you didn't have one and you were going to run this thing out. We were rooting for you if you did.
Yeah, not gonna happen, man. My night's over. Just trying to log some laps here before I finish the last two from the pits.
Well, it's unfortunate the way it finished here for you, but while we have you here, we know you got some quick shout-outs, so we'll give you a chance to thank everyone on board that car that makes it happen here for you tonight.
Yeah, big shout out to Walls Beard Co. for the sponsorship. Big shout out for just all the guys that work their butts off, the admins and all that, and the drivers committee to get this leg up off the ground. We got 35 fantastic races, and we're looking forward to having them here on LSR TV. All the hard work you do and all that. So just shout outs to all the guys that make this happen.
All right, well, unfortunate finish for you, but rebound, we'll see you next week.
All righty.
Unfortunate. I thought maybe he was going to try to run it out, but the meatball is there. Of course, the meatball is what we call it. That is the black flag indicating that you need repairs, and if you don't come in, they will black flag you with the unfriendly black flag, as we like to call it, and they will disqualify you from the race either way. So, again, just unfortunate for Jeff. Two nights in a row, or 2 races in a row, having to finish the race from the pits.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's part of racing. Sometimes it just doesn't work out for you, and you just gotta, like I said, scratch it from the schedule and move on to the next week and focus on next week and see what you can do to put together a better finish and just carry on.
Yeah, just use that racer's memory, short-term memory, and just move on from it. That's all you can do. So, again, it's unfortunate, but we're ready to go as we're on the backstretch. I do believe lights are off. We're going to go racing here with the green-white checkered attempt number 1.
Yeah, this isn't over. We're going into overtime, so it's going to get even probably dicier than it was before. We still got a handful of trucks here, and Corey Walters he stayed out on the track. He's got a little bit of damage from making contact with the 48 there, but he thinks he's probably got something he can keep going with without having to make a pit stop. John Ottbacher's probably a little bit more relieved now that his 2 teammates, the 48 and 24, are now not screaming down behind him. So it should be interesting.
It'll definitely be interesting to see. If I had to guess who's going to win this race, I would say somebody in the top 10 right now. So that's my guess. You just don't know who it's going to be. We don't even know if we're going to have another green-white checkered here. And keep in mind, these guys have not been down pit road in quite some time. Walters has been down 13 laps ago, 33 for John Ottbacher as the green flag comes back out once again. So this one will be interesting to see how it all plays out here for the season opener, as it's going to be Corey Walters out front right now.
It is. Corey Walters got a little bit of a jump there, but that's not always a good thing. Dan West closed up pretty quick. We got the 17 of who is that? Bill Ross Jr. and pushing the 89 of John Ottbacher to the outside. John Ottbacher's trying to get back out to take the lead. We've only got two laps left.
Now 2 laps to go as they're going to be coming to the flag stand here in just a moment. As they come out of turn number 4, it's going to be almost side by side coming to get it. And that, of course, is the Eco 1 to go. Here's your Eco 1 lap to go here for the Northwest Racing Truck Series season opener. Time will tell. Side by side, they come in to the backstretch.
Yeah, it's getting a little crazy. The 3's trying to push the 17 out front. John Ottbacher took over the lead. He was able to get and clear the 9 and drop down in front of him down the backstretch. We got the 89, the 9, and the 55 on the inside. Bill Ross Jr. on the outside. But it's getting crazy.
It is. It's the 9 of Corey Walters going to try anything here to try and get this. He is going to be in second place at the moment, and we got big wreck behind him. and it's going to be John Ottenbacher that ends up getting the win. I know it said Corey Walters there for a while. The live scoring doesn't update here in the green, white, checkered as it kind of freezes there, but it's going to be John Ottenbacher, Corey Walters, and Scott Hutchinson picking up a third place, as we saw Scott Hutchinson go for a wild ride earlier in this race.
Yeah, that was a pretty intense finish right there. John Ottenbacher able to hold off the rest of the field there. Fantastic race, fantastic win for the Wicked Chassis driver there with the LSR TV logos on that truck. Unfortunately, it's a good finish for the 9 of Corey Walters, but I know he's probably banging that steering wheel a little bit. He really wanted to get that win and sweep Daytona to start off the 2020 season.
Yeah, he definitely did. And of course, that coming to the end of the racing portion of our program, we still have the post-race show. We'll see John Ottenbacher going to go do some celebrating. You want to run through our top 10 here in the results, and then we'll bring it home, and we'll get over to the post-race show in Victory Lane.
Certainly can. That wraps up the first race of the season for the Northwest Truck Series. We got John Ottenbacher in the 89 taking the win to start off the season. Corey Walters finished second. Scott Hutchinson third. Gary Nichols in the 8 truck finishes fourth, and Ryan Maines in the 13 rounds out your top 5. Dan West Jr. brings it home 6th. Bill Ross Jr. 7th. James Vining finishes in 8th, and Frank Harris will round out Frank Harris 9th, and Tom Green will round out your top 10 here.
And just outside the top 10, he was in the top 10 most of the day. It's going to be 11th place, the 28 of William Fletcher. We have the 78 of Dan Stuzzi, and getting some mixed signals there between those positionings. Then we have the 26 of Ray Fournier. Then we have the 3 of Travis Barnes, followed by the 58 of Stephen Paulson. And 15th is going to be the 24 Jeff Stabnow. 16th will be the 07 of Dana Rogers. 17th will be the 48 of Mark Walls. 18th will be the 41 of Stephen O'Hare. There we go. The 20th, we got some mixed up numbers in there. 20th will be the 40 of Bruce Lee Weaver. 21st will be the 53 of Carl Burke. 22nd will go to the 50 of Jared Wakefield. And, of course, not making the start here tonight is going to be the 51 of Roy Grande in the 23rd spot. We, of course, will be right back with the post-race show. We're going to talk to our top 3 drivers here in the booth, and then we'll go down there, too. Anyway, we're going to meet John Ottenbacher in Victory Lane. So give us just a moment. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, here with the post-race show from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. After an exciting race, and it just got better the longer it went on. Unfortunately, we don't have third place. The report was he was being taken to the infield care center for oxygen. So we unfortunately do not get to talk with him, but we'll definitely be talking to him in the near future. That being said, I believe that Chris has caught up with the 9 of Corey Walters, so we'll send it down to him in pit road.
Hey, Corey, fantastic finish there, bringing it home second. Looks like you kind of ran in the back a little bit, kind of protected yourself a little bit. But in the beginning of this race, I was telling Charles there, What would it feel like to have pulled off that win and have swept Daytona to start the 2020 season?
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking on that last lap. But then John got that move on the outside, and I was happy to push him to it, man. I mean, he deserves it. He runs this league day every time. You know, he shows up all the time, and you know, I wanted to see him get the W, so I'm happy for him. I mean, it was a good race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see some guys get wrecked, but that's a product of Daytona. It looks like you and John, and Mark Walls there got together a little bit. Might have been a little bit of net code, but other than that, how was your truck running for the night?
Ran pretty good, man. I mean, it sucked up to the draft a lot faster than I was expecting it to. Pretty much ran just half, three-quarter throttle the whole race until the very end there. Want to kind of cruise around and pick your moment, you know?
Yeah, that's usually how Daytona works. You can go from the front to the back to the front. You just got to run your race. And with all the luck you got, you see where you end up in the end. But second place was a fantastic run. Congratulations on second. Any sponsors you want to shout out?
No sponsors. I just want to give a shout out to Jeff, Mark, John, you know, Sean, all those guys. They work pretty hard to put the show on, and I appreciate everything they do. I also appreciate LSR TV for broadcasting. You guys do a heck of a job. And Chris, thanks for stepping in tonight, bud.
No problem. Appreciate it. And fantastic start to your 2020 season. That does it for the number 9 of Corey Walters, bringing it home second here at Daytona. Pass it off to you, Charles. You have your race winner, John Ottbacher in the 89 Chevy.
We have caught up with John in victory lane. We're having to avoid all the champagne that's being sprayed around here, but we have him as he did some celebrating, pulled it in the victory lane. You get the winner chicken dinner. You also celebrating with the trophy girls down there in the victory lane. Season opener here for the trucks. You will come away as the points leader, the winner going into next week. How does it feel to know you are the points leader coming in or leaving tonight's race?
It feels so awesome. I never would have thought I would have had that chance tonight. Just planning just to kind of run a steady race and get a good finish, and somehow I ended up not getting into any trouble, and came away with a clean race and somehow got the win.
We talked to you a little bit earlier in this race about the fuel, if you would be able to make it. We had the green-white checkered. You obviously made it on fuel. How close was it on fuel here in these last closing laps?
Well, if we would have kept going, it would have been real close. You know, those couple cautions, I was able to gain like 6 laps on for fuel, so we were good for 2 green-white checkers.
So the caution comes out and beneficial to you as you again able to save a little bit on gas. So you know we have obviously we hadn't had that caution. The scenario may have been a little bit different. So we move on. We go to the next week. And we talk about this a lot. How much momentum does winning at something like Daytona give you going into the next week, which I believe is Las Vegas?
Oh, it's just a huge confidence builder, you know. Being able to win any race in a year is just huge. So to get the first one and to be able to lock in that going into the championship and right away takes a lot of heat off. You can do a lot of stuff after that.
Well, the rest of the season, kind of your playground, as you just kind of hinting at there, is you can do a lot of stuff, practice, do stuff you might not do. You know, if you hadn't had that win in your back pocket, we talk about your say your fast repair being like a lifesaver. Getting that win, definitely lifesaver as you get to practice and play around a little bit more during the season than you might regularly get to. But all that being said, we know you have some sponsors on that truck you need to thank for making this all happen here tonight. So who would those be for that victory here at Daytona?
Yeah, I got to thank Wicked Chassis for putting us a great truck together. Jeff, Sean, and Mark, they do an awesome job and just run an excellent league and put great setups together. And so I got to just thank them for first and foremost, and I'll throw Walt's Beard Company out there and everything they've done for our league. I got to thank LSR TV and putting the sponsorship on the Silverado. It was a rocket ship tonight and felt really good out there. And thank you, Cody and Chris, for all the announcing that you did tonight.
All right. Well, again, congrats on the win here tonight. He's going to be doing celebrating all night long, I'm sure, or at least until he has to go to work tomorrow. That being said, we thank everyone on behalf of myself, Chris, the winner here tonight, everyone in the top three and throughout this field, the league admins, everyone that makes all of this possible. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, and make sure you tune in Saturday and Sunday as we have some racing going on. Make sure you check Facebook and Twitter, and of course the YouTube channel for all the latest information. Till then, we'll see you at the next race.